This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 24th day of September in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. The United Nations General Assembly was informed by President Irfan Ali this afternoon that despite the border controversy with Venezuela being before the International Court, Guyana continues to face aggression and threats from Venezuela. In his address to the 80th session of the UN General Assembly in New York, President Irfan Ali said although the threats by Venezuela have been ongoing for decades, Caracas has taken several actions in recent times to intensify its aggression. The president reminded the General Assembly that although the International Court of Justice has twice affirmed its jurisdiction and has also issued provisional measures ordering Venezuela to refrain from altering the status quo, the neighboring country persists with unilateral laws and threats of annexation, which violates international law, the UN Charter, and the principles that sustain global order.
If the rights of a small state can be trampled upon and legally binding orders ignored, what protection remains for any nation under international law? Yet, Guyana continues to repose confidence in international law. For us, the principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and non-interference are non-negotiable.
President Ali also said Guyana's participation at the International Court of Justice is testament to the country's commitment to have the border issues settled in a peaceful manner, adding that the country will not be intimidated.
We will not cower to coercion, intimidation, or unilateral action. We thank our international partners and allies for their solidarity.
The president also said the UN must remain firm in its position on aggression globally.
If the UN is to remain humanity's best hope, it must stand firm against aggression and remain fully engaged with the great question of our time. We must be bold in recognizing the necessity for institutional adjustments that will advance the organization's success.
President Ali also used his address to highlight issues related to food security, climate change, and poverty, but most importantly said the time has come for frank discussions and matters relating to the situation in Haiti and ending the embargo on Cuba, saying that those countries deserve peace and stability. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
We're celebrating the World Maritime Day 2025 in a big way, exhibition style. An amazing sea of opportunities awaits you in the maritime sector. Come on down to the Providence National Stadium on Thursday, September 25th, 2025 and meet the movers and shakers in the maritime industry. Learn about ships, port operations, career and maritime training and opportunities, and interact with maritime professionals and industry leaders. This is for one day only, from 9 hours to 16 hours. Witness an amazing array of boats, maritime equipment, and more on vessels on display. Join us for the World Maritime Day exhibition, hosted by the Maritime Administration Department, Ministry of Public Utilities and Aviation. It's our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity. See you there, open to everyone.
Your much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Quartz presents the Home Event 2025, happening now at Quartz stores nationwide. It's the perfect time to refresh your home. Come explore new arrivals, bestsellers, and deals you can't resist. Discover the widest range of stylish furniture, cutting-edge TVs, audio systems, and appliances that are smart and energy efficient, all backed by the Quartz low price guarantee. Our experts will help you choose what you need for your home. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and get more. Don't miss the Quartz Home Event 2025. Quartz, bringing value home.
Get ready, Guyana! It's CPL! It's carnival time! It's time for the biggest party of the year! On Saturday, September 27th, Kingston Beach comes alive with nothing but pure vibes as the Republic Bank, Pan, Brass, and Soca. A night of rhythm, energy, and pure vibes.
They should know!
Look out for Mixmaster Tony, Selecta Andre, Kun Jazz Steel Ensemble, Guyana Police Force Steel Orchestra, OKC, Omaya Hall, Carlvin Burnett, A.W. Lyrical, The Troy, The Pianist, Heatwave Band, Johan Chukari, Adam Hagley, and the Insomniacs Band. And straight out of Trinidad and Tobago, the one and only Young Bretta. Pan, Brass, and Soca is supported by Republic Bank Limited, Ministry of Culture, Youth, and Sport, Star Party Rentals, Discover Guyana, New GPC, DS Ramsey Hall and Sons Jewelry, German's Restaurant, and Beacon Cafe. Ticket prices of $5,000. VIP access is $20,000. Tickets available at the National Cultural Center box office. Don't forget, Pan, Brass, and Soca, September 27th at Kingston Beach.
President Irfan Ali and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met this morning in New York on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. During the meeting, the two sides discussed deepening relations between Guyana and the United States. The two countries already have several trade and security agreements in place and have been cooperating in areas of national security, energy security, and investment and trade. In recent months, Guyana and the U.S. have also been increasing their security cooperation to combat drug trafficking and gun running in the region. A statement from the Office of the President said President Ali and Secretary Rubio highlighted the importance of the existing strategic partnership in advancing regional security, especially to support regional efforts in the fight against narco-terrorism and transnational crimes. The meeting also saw an exchange of views on issues facing the hemisphere, including the situation in Haiti and Cuba. The meeting between Mr. Ali and Mr. Rubio highlighted that the U.S. remains an important trade ally for Guyana, with both sides recognizing the need to work closely to realize the full benefits of bilateral trade relations. The statement further said discussions also examined progress on the ongoing bilateral trade talks and the efforts aimed at ensuring a mutually beneficial agreement is reached. The two countries have also committed to continue close coordination at various multilateral levels to address various global challenges. In a separate statement from the U.S. Department of State, it was noted that Secretary Rubio also reaffirmed support for Guyana's territorial integrity and further underscored U.S. commitment to deepening collaboration with the Guyana Defense Force to strengthen counter-narcotics capabilities and enhance bilateral cooperation to address shared security challenges. The U.S. Secretary of State also commended Guyana's support of a UN support office for Haiti and for backing the establishment of the new gang suppression force. Mr. Rubio also congratulated President Ali on his re-election and emphasized the importance of continued joint security and economic collaboration. 3 United States senators are concerned that American taxpayers may be subsidizing ExxonMobil's operation in Guyana, and they are now seeking information over their concerns. In a letter to the chairman and chief executive officer of ExxonMobil, Darren Woods, U.S. Senators Sheldon Whitehouse, Jeffrey Merkley, and Chris Van Hollen said they have taken note of ExxonMobil's partnership with Chinese state-owned oil company, the China National Offshore Oil Corporation, CNOOC, and the Hess Corporation, now owned by Chevron, in the production of oil in the Stabroek Block in Guyana. And they are concerned that the 2016 Stabroek Block production sharing agreement may have affected the company's U.S. federal tax liability. The senators said they are concerned about the possibility that American taxpayers may be subsidizing ExxonMobil's foreign oil production, which they do in partnership with a Chinese state-owned company. It was pointed out that under U.S. laws and regulations, ExxonMobil is considered a dual-capacity taxpayer due to the fact that it is a multinational company that pays an income tax to a foreign country, while also receiving a specific economic benefit from the foreign country, such as the right to extract oil and gas. However, under the Stabroek Block production sharing agreement, the oil giant pockets 75% of the value of the oil produced and sold in cost recovery, while the remaining 25% of production is split between ExxonMobil and its partners and the government of Guyana. The U.S. senators in their letter pointed out that under the production sharing agreement, the government pays ExxonMobil's Guyana income taxes out of the government's share of the oil profits. In the current circumstance, the senators have suggested that the rules prohibiting U.S. companies from claiming foreign tax credits to lower their U.S. tax bill for payments that amount to subsidies from foreign governments should apply. The U.S. senators contend that ExxonMobil may not be entitled to shrink its U.S. tax bill through any foreign tax credits for payments made by the government of Guyana for its taxes. They added that payments to a foreign government in exchange for an economic benefit are not considered taxes at all, and thus cannot qualify for a U.S. foreign tax credit. The senators acknowledge, however, that special rules allow dual-capacity taxpayers to divide up such payments into creditable taxes and not creditable payments. They said while it is not difficult to distinguish between taxes and payments for economic benefits, current rules allow contracts to be structured in a way that blurs the distinction. The loophole is a particular boon to big multinational oil companies, the senators noted. They argue that closing the loophole would save U.S. taxpayers an estimated $71.5 billion over 10 years. They said big companies like ExxonMobil do not need any more government subsidies. The senators said Republicans added even more with their One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which included a $167 billion handout to companies like ExxonMobil that ship jobs and profits overseas, as well as a special $427 million carve-out for the oil and gas industry to limit or avoid the corporate alternative minimum tax that is intended to prevent companies from erasing their tax bill with special breaks. In putting forward a total of 7 questions, the U.S. senators said they would like to better understand whether U.S. tax dollars are subsidizing a partnership with China to drill for oil overseas. The senators also want to know if ExxonMobil provided income tax returns to the government, and if so, for which years. They also want to know if ExxonMobil claimed any U.S. foreign tax credits on any payments to the government of Guyana in 2024 and or 2023, and whether the PSA makes a distinction between taxes owed to the government and payments for economic benefits. The senators also want to know ExxonMobil's rationale for including the Chinese company CNOOC as a partner in its 2016 production sharing agreement with the government of Guyana. Back to the United Nations. Addressing the UN General Assembly for the first time since his re-election this afternoon, President Irfan Ali challenged world leaders to do more to address climate change. The president told other world leaders that there is need for unified global action to limit global warming, noting that Guyana is already doing its part.
We continue to match our words with actions, protecting our forests, investing in sea and river defenses, improving drainage and irrigation, and restoring mangrove ecosystems to protect our people, our land, our livelihoods, and our planet.
It was noted that Guyana's Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030 demonstrates that economic growth and environmental stewardship can advance hand in hand. Guyana is the first country certified under the REDD+ Environmental Excellence Standard. The president said by successfully selling carbon credits, Guyana is demonstrating to the world that nature has tangible value and that innovation and responsibility can be rewarded.
We call on the international community to deliver predictable, accessible climate finance, to support adaptation and resilience, and to embrace nature-based solutions.
And alluding to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, President Ali said 2025 marks 10 years since the SDGs were launched. Yet they face slow implementation and regression in many areas, signaling the promise of 2030 is at risk.
Guyana calls for renewed global commitment to financing for development, including fulfilling official development assistance pledges, mobilizing domestic resources, and addressing the crippling debt burdens that hinder progress in many developing nations. Addressing these development challenges requires recognizing that the health of our ecosystems is inseparable from achieving the SDGs.
It was also pointed out that just recently Guyana convened the inaugural Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit, uniting over 140 countries, organizations, community groups, indigenous leaders, scientists, and financial institutions. President Ali said the Georgetown Declaration endorsed by this broad coalition of stakeholders sends a clear and urgent message that biodiversity is a global public good and its protection must be woven into national development plans, climate strategies, and financial frameworks.
Guyana is demonstrating that economic development and environmental stewardship can advance together by using natural gas as a bridge away from heavy fuel oil and investing in hydropower, solar, wind, and other renewables. We aim to lower electricity costs for our citizens and businesses while ensuring universal access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy.
Explaining that Guyana is pursuing an ambitious energy infrastructure and investment plan, the president said while climate change is an existential threat, the reality is that the world still requires energy, sourced from petroleum to power growth and development, for which there is growing demand. This, he said, is essential for the survival of economies around the world, noting that in the case of Guyana, one of the world's largest energy producers per capita, it is carefully balancing its green footprint with energy production.
We're celebrating the World Maritime Day 2025 in a big way. Exhibition style. An amazing sea of opportunities awaits you in the maritime sector. Come on down to the Providence National Stadium on Thursday, September 25th, 2025 and meet the movers and shakers in the maritime industry. Learn about ships, port operations, career and maritime training and opportunities, and interact with maritime professionals and industry leaders. This is for one day only, from 9 hours to 16 hours. Witness an amazing array of boats, maritime equipment, and more on vessels on display. Join us for the World Maritime Day exhibition, hosted by the Maritime Administration Department, Ministry of Public Utilities and Aviation. It's our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity. See you there, open to everyone.
Get ready, Guyana. It's CPL. It's carnival time. It's time for the biggest party of the year. On Saturday, September 27th, Kingston Beach comes alive with nothing but pure vibes as the Republic Bank, Pan, Brass, and Soca. A night of rhythm, energy, and pure vibes.
They should know.
Look out for Mixmaster Tony, Selecta Andre, Kunjaz Steel Ensemble, Guyana Police Force Steel Orchestra, OKC, Omaya Hall, Carlvin Burnett, A.W. Lyrical, The Troy, The Pianist, Heatwave Band, Johan Chukari, Adam Hagley, and the Insomniacs Band. And straight out of Trinidad and Tobago, the one and only Young Breda. Pan Brass and Soca is supported by Republic Bank Limited, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, Star Party Rentals, Discover Guyana, New GPC, DS Ramsey Hall and Sons Jewelry, German's Restaurant, and Beacon Cafe. Ticket prices of $5,000. VIP access is $20,000. Tickets available at the National Cultural Center box office. Don't forget, Pan Brass and Soca, September 27th at Kingston Beach.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright. Have me clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Starbrook Market.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty has transferred a multi-million-dollar tax case against billionaire businessman and leader of the Wind Party Azruddin Mohammed to another court. Mr. Mohammed is facing charges of fraudulent declaration and tax evasion in relation to the purchase and importation of a luxury vehicle back in 2020, as alleged by the Guyana Revenue Authority. The matter will now be heard in Court 3 before Magistrate Fabio Azor, the Acting Chief Magistrate announced this morning. In making the announcement, the Acting Chief Magistrate said she has enough on her plate already. She said she will certainly not be the magistrate doing the trial, since she believes she has quite a lot on her plate, so she proposes a transfer of the matter to another magistrate. The matter will now come up in Court 3 on the 3rd of October for report. It is expected that when the case is called, the new magistrate will likely set a date for a case management conference that will address a date for the commencement of the trial. Attorney for the Guyana Revenue Authority Sanjeev Tatadin, in making a case for an early date, said the prosecution wants the case to proceed. Defense attorney Sion Dejourne had asked for a later date, but the prosecuting attorney Sanjeev Tatadin said the prosecution wants to get it on. He said they're asking for an early date, and at this stage, any date next week will be welcomed. But in arriving at the date, the acting chief magistrate emphasized that the matter will come up simply for report. Mohammed is accused of making a false declaration to the Guyana Revenue Authority, contrary to Section 217 of the Customs Act. The prosecution alleges that he falsely declared the wrong value of a luxury vehicle imported back in 2020. The cost of that luxury vehicle was reportedly stated as $75,300 instead of the alleged purchase price of $695,000. Additionally, he is accused of fraudulent evasion contrary to the Customs Act. According to the particulars of that offense, Mohammed, by allegedly declaring the cost of the car to be just $75,300 instead of the true price, evaded more than $380 million in local taxes. He maintains his innocence of those charges. While outlining his government's development plan for the country, President Irfan Ali on Tuesday evening made another pitch for Guyanese living in the diaspora to return home to seek out investment opportunities, promising that the government will create the enabling environment to protect their investment. The president, who is currently leading a delegation to New York for the UN General Assembly, met members of the Guyanese diaspora in New York at an event last evening and assured them that Guyana would welcome their return home with open arms. The president said the country is putting systems in place to match the services that they are afforded outside of Guyana.
And let me assure you that the Guyana we are building is one that is ready and willing to welcome you with open arms. Whether you decide to return permanently or whether you simply want to invest, mentor, share expertise, or visit for a few months each year, we are ready for you.
The president said a number of persons from the diaspora have been returning home to resettle and to also invest, noting that the government is willing to put systems in place to facilitate their smooth transition back home.
Very soon, we'll be putting together some investment opportunities for you here in the diaspora and our private sector and citizens at home. I ask you to examine those opportunities and make full use of them when they come your way.
And speaking on the importance of the Guyanese diaspora, President Ali said the diaspora can be partners in the nation's transformation, and as such, the government will ensure that they are kept informed of the many opportunities available for them to be players in key sectors. He said while some persons might be skeptical to take up the offer to return home and invest, they should make a visit to their homeland before making any decision.
You don't have to take my word for it. You can see it for yourselves through the news, through social media, through the voices and stories of your family and friends back home. And by coming and seeing for yourselves, the transformation is unfolding before your very eyes. This is not hidden. This is not a dream deferred. This is development happening in real time, unfolding at a rapid pace, and it is visible, it is tangible, and it is undeniable. For those who left a long time ago, the Guyana of today is not the Guyana of yesterday. We are no longer the land that people run from. We are now the land that people are running toward.
The president described Guyana as a land of many opportunities. He said those opportunities should not be taken for granted by citizens at home and abroad. The Foreign Affairs Ministry has a special diaspora unit that aids in guiding those members of the diaspora who are wishing to return home and invest. Now let's tell you that 19-year-old Baramita Northwest District resident Nadira James appeared in court on Tuesday, where she was charged for the murder of her 20-year-old boyfriend, Kevin Smith. The young man was stabbed to death last Thursday at the couple's dwelling place in the same Baramita community. During her court appearance via Zoom, James was not required to enter a plea to the indictable murder charge and was remanded to prison. Her next court appearance has been set for the 14th of October. In an earlier statement, the Guyana Police Force explained that on the night of the 18th of September, the 19-year-old woman visited the Baramita police station and reported that she had stabbed her 20-year-old boyfriend, claiming that she was first attacked by him. The police accompanied the woman back to the scene of the incident, where the young man's body was discovered in a nearby clump of bushes. It appeared as though he was trying to run away from the scene and collapsed and died. The police said his body sustained at least 2 stab wounds. The suspect was arrested and reported to the police that earlier the same night she was at a nearby shop having alcoholic drinks. When she reportedly returned to the dwelling place in an intoxicated state, it is alleged that a boyfriend lashed her with a cutlass. She retaliated by arming herself with a homemade knife and stabbing the man to the chest. The two were reportedly in a relationship for just over 1 year.
Get ready, Guyana! It's CPL! It's carnival time! It's time for the biggest party of the year! On Saturday, September 27th, Kingston Beach comes alive with nothing but pure vibes as the Republic Bank, Pan, Brass, and Soca. A night of rhythm, energy, and pure vibes.
They should know!
Look out for Mixmaster Tony, Selecta Andre, Kunjaz Steel Ensemble, Guyana Police Force Steel Orchestra, OKC, Omaya Hall, Carlvin Burnett, A.W. Lyrical, The Troy, The Pianist, Heatwave Band, Johan Chukari, Adam Hagley, and the Insomniacs Band. And straight out of Trinidad and Tobago, the one and only Young Bretta. Hand Brass and Soca is supported by Republic Bank Limited, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, Star Party Rentals, Discover Guyana, New GPC, DS Ramsey Hall and Sons Jewelry, German's Restaurant, and Beacon Cafe. Ticket prices of $5,000. VIP access is $20,000. Tickets available at the National Cultural Center box office. Don't forget, Pan, Brass, and Soca, September 27th at Kingston Beach.
Live the island dream. It's your chance to be one of over 100 winners in the Island Dream promotion. Win your share of more than $1 million in cash and prizes, plus 2 all-inclusive weekend staycations for 2. And that's not all. Score coolers packed with Buster, Turbo, Altitude, and Viva. Just buy any can or bottle of Turbo, Buster, Altitude, or Viva. Find the code starting with BB. Then visit at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean on IG or Facebook for details.
Live the island dream, get money. Live the island dream.
We're celebrating the World Maritime Day 2025 in a big way. Exhibition style. An amazing sea of opportunities awaits you in the maritime sector. Come on down to the Providence National Stadium on Thursday, September 25th, 2025 and meet the movers and shakers in the maritime industry. Learn about ships, port operations, career and maritime training and opportunities, and interact with maritime professionals and industry leaders. This is for 1 day only, from 9 hours to 16 hours. Witness an amazing array of boats, maritime equipment, and more on vessels on display. Join us for the World Maritime Day exhibition, hosted by the Maritime Administration Department, Ministry of Public Utilities and Aviation. It's our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity. See you there, open to everyone.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Across the region tonight, let's begin by telling you that Brazilian President Lula da Silva told the UN General Assembly on Tuesday that the recent unilateral attacks against his country's institutions and economy were unacceptable, in a stern rebuke of US foreign policy. Lula's comments echoed his running criticism of U.S. President Donald Trump for imposing tariffs, visa restrictions, and financial sanctions in response to the trial and conviction of Brazil's former president Jair Bolsonaro for plotting a coup after he lost the 2022 election. On Monday, Washington imposed sanctions on the wife of the judge who presided over the Supreme Court trial of Bolsonaro, which Trump called a witch hunt, and revoked the visas of 6 high-ranking Brazilian officials. The Trump administration had previously sanctioned Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes under the Magnitsky Act and slapped a 50% tariff on U.S. imports of many of the Brazilian goods. The Brazilian president also defended the investigation and due process resulting in the conviction of Bolsonaro, who was sentenced to 27 years in jail for attempting the coup to stay in power. In neighboring Trinidad and Tobago, on the 49th anniversary of Trinidad and Tobago's republic status, the Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has called for urgent reforms to strengthen the country's democracy, noting that the foundations of the republic remain flawed. She said since 1976, the Republican Constitution has concentrated excessive power in the office of the Prime Minister and weakened the so-called independent institutions, which were often appointed by a president beholden to the ruling party. The Prime Minister argued that the flaws have undermined checks and balances, limiting fairness and accountability in governance. Tracing past reform efforts, the Prime Minister highlighted her government's introduction of the Freedom of Information Act, the Judicial Review Act, and the Equal Opportunity Act between 1995 and 2000. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar also pointed to her government's modernization of Parliament during her first tenure, including the introduction of the Prime Minister's questions, proportional representation in local government, and landmark procurement reforms. Each initiative, she said, aimed to ensure democracy genuinely empowers all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And finally tonight, international news. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged world powers to help stop Russia's war in his country in a speech to the UN today, warning of a dangerous arms race that he said the fighting was helping to unleash. He called for global rules to curb the use of artificial intelligence in weapons, while describing breakneck innovation in the military use of drones. He also accused the Russian President Vladimir Putin of seeking to expand his war beyond Ukraine. President Zelensky told the 193-member United Nations that stopping Russia now is cheaper than wondering who will be the first to create a simple drone carrying a nuclear warhead. His comments came a day after he met with U.S. President Donald Trump at the UN, where Mr. Trump appeared to take a much tougher stance towards the Kremlin. Trump said on Tuesday that Kiev could retake all its occupied land from Russia in what would be an extraordinary battlefield reversal. He also endorsed the idea of shooting down Russian fighter jets that violate NATO airspace. Zelensky said the advent of artificial intelligence meant the arms race on the way was the most destructive in human history, and he voiced disappointment in what he said was the weakness of international law and international cooperation. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.